everyone, and welcome to the brand new series on my channel, which is called The Film Addict. So if you are watching, my friend, it means you are addicted to movies as much as I am. And in these videos I'm going to talk about the movies which I saw and which I liked, and about the movies which I didn't really like. And for the first episode I chose the movie which is called The Danish Girl. So if to speak shortly about the plot, this story is about a talented Danish painter who was very successful, who had quite a good career and a very beautiful loving wife, but at some point he starts to realize he doesn't feel comfortable in his own body and he wants to become a woman. And this is quite a touchy subject, right? And I know a few people who are not eager to watch this movie because of the topic, and they are mostly men, and which is quite funny because when I discussed this movie with girls, they were also excited to watch it, like even my mom wants to watch it, but when it comes to men, they seem to be a little bit uncomfortable about the topic. But you know what, for me personally, this movie was not particularly a transgender story. It was a story about the painter's wife who was losing her husband very slowly, day by day, and she had to face the fact that he didn't want to be a man anymore, and she couldn't do anything about it, and everyone around thought he was crazy, but she was the one who trusted him, who wanted to be always by his side and to go through all the stages with him, always to be around. But at the same time she felt so lonely and miserable, and she was scared, and at some point she thought it was her own fault. So when I only started watching The Danish Girl, I was pretty sure it would be a very optimistic, uplifting and inspirational type of story, but it wasn't, and it turned out to be a very sad and heartbreaking story, and I wasn't prepared for that, and I cried a few times. But it's interesting that I cried mostly because I sympathized with the painter's wife rather than him, because in this movie he's shown as quite an egocentric and selfish person who cares only about his own happiness and who doesn't really think about his wife's feelings. And he does things in the movie and he says things to her that are really heartbreaking and sometimes pretty cruel. So I really felt sorry about her rather than Ed Redmayne's character, even though he is considered to be the tragic character of this movie. And I quite agree with those film critics who wonder why Alicia Vikander is nominated for the Best Actress in a Supporting Role, whereas she seems to be the star of the movie. And she's the first and the last person we see on screen, and she's actually called the Danish Girl in the movie, which makes me think that this movie is probably her own story. And if to speak about the acting, I can't but mention Ed Redmayne, who's nominated for the Best Actor in a Leading Role. And even though this role is very challenging and dramatic and very Oscar-y, I don't really think that he will win the Oscar this year, but no doubt this role will be one of the brightest and the most extraordinary in his repertoire. And I really appreciated what he did in this movie because he's such a courageous actor, such a courageous man, and guys, he does things in the movie which I don't think every actor would do, even for the Oscar. And I could really see that he did his best to move like a woman, to speak like a woman, to act like a woman, and this is pretty impressive. But for me personally, it was Alicia Vikander who was the main star of the movie, and it was a very pleasant surprise because I saw her previously in some of the movies like Pure, which is a Swedish film, Man from the Uncle, Anna Karenina, and I wasn't particularly impressed by her performance. But here she just blew my mind, and I believed her, I believed every word, I believed every tear, and that was amazing. I mean, I was so blown away by her performance, and this year she's nominated for the Oscar, and I really hope she will win because she really deserves it. Okay, if I had to rate this movie on a scale from 1 to 10, I would probably give it 8, just because this is such a beautiful movie and every shot is like a picture, and I really like the way the film director depicted the epoch, which is 1920s, and this was such an artistic and bohemian time, and the fashion was great with all those bright dresses, red lips, stockings, long mouthpieces, and it is so beautiful to watch. And also the music is very beautiful, it is so sophisticated, it is like a symphony for me, and it provokes a right emotion on on the right time, so it can make you laugh and it can make you cry, which is always good for a movie, I think. But at the same time, I feel like it's not a movie that I would watch again on a rainy day or with my friends, just because it's just so sad and so heartbreaking, and it really broke my heart. But what I'm really grateful for is that this topic was finally touched upon by the film directors, because in this world there are so many people who feel the same way as the main character, and I think it is very important and very crucial to show how these people feel and how they perceive themselves. Because oftentimes people judge because they don't understand. That is why I think it is really important to show what inner struggles these people have, and I really want to believe that the movies like this can change someone's outlook. And that is probably all that I wanted to say about this movie, and I really hope that I inspired you to go and see The Danish Girl, especially if you were reluctant to. And in my next video I will be reviewing the latest screen adaptation of War and Peace made by BBC, and I will give you a little spoiler alert. I absolutely loved it, so I can't wait to discuss it in details and to share my thoughts and my feelings about it with you. So yeah, stay tuned and I will see you very, very soon. Пока! I'm just thinking if you can hear that. Oh, pigeons are making love on the roof. Yeah.